Wouldn't it be great if you could change wallpapers like this instead of literally hard coding paths inside config files like you're a caveman and like it's freaking 2021? Well, it's actually pretty simple to set up. The app we're going to be using in order to get this done is called awww, which is the answer to your Wayland Wallpaper Woes. That's literally what the program is called. If I were to show you its GitHub, it looks a little something like this, okay? Let's go to awww GitHub. And here, okay, this is not the right one. It's instead this one by LG Fay. Here, once you click on it, this is a Codeberg link, so it takes you to this website. And basically, here you get to know that it is the definitive answer to your Wayland Wallpaper Woes. Now, because it's been updated and it's no longer the past program that it was, it basically allows you to set a lot more stuff as well. Now, the main features over here are the ability to set whichever image that you want that are in this format, basically. So you have JPEG, PNG, GIF. This is especially useful for live wallpapers, so you can use this. And if you're using waypaper, you can use this as a, hold on a sec. Yeah, if you're using waypaper, you can use awww as a backend, which means that you will be able to also control different stuff like duration, angle, FPS, steps, and whatnot, along with also changing the transition. Not just that, but then using live wallpapers as well, which is very, very nice. Like this one, this is a live wallpaper. This is actually a GIF image, and they might not have implemented the feature of using live wallpapers just yet, but in that case, you can use mpvpaper. But anyway, I digress. And hold on. Seems like they actually have implemented it. Well, there you go. Pro tip. You just figured it out. Okay, well, all that's well and great, but then let's say you want to actually control this through the command line instead of using mpvpaper. How do you actually set this up? Well, it's pretty simple. You need to get to know what exactly you want from this wallpaper daemon. Main thing is going to be setting your wallpapers, and second thing is how exactly you want the wallpaper to be set. So what transition, what FPS, what transition step, all that sort of stuff. So let's see over here. Okay, here they give you the basics of how you can do stuff. Now we'll go through this, and I will also show you how to use its other features as well, like outer transitions, inner transitions, as well as random transitions and stuff like that. So let's begin. Now, let's keep this open side by side so I can show you what's going on. Okay, let's change the wallpaper to something else for now. We'll just use this flowers one. Actually, we can pick a better one that's been recolored using LutGen. There you go. It's been applied. The theme, the rose pine tint to it. Great. Now, you have to, first of all, start the daemon by typing in awww daemon, okay, ampersand disown. And what this ampersand disown part does is it basically takes this process and then detaches it from the terminal so that even if you close the terminal, the app is still running in the background. Now, one really cool and neat thing about using ampersand disown in this way is that you can close the terminal and the app is going to be running, of course, but even if you, let's say, get rid, not even, but then if you actually end up getting rid of the compositor itself, like let's say you log out or it crashes or something like that, of course, with no graphical environment to actually display this, it's not going to be running in the background, which means that it works perfectly in our scenario. So you just type in awww daemon ampersand disown and you hit enter, and what's going to happen is you are going to get an error in my case because it's already running, but in your case, that's not going to happen. Okay, you will have the daemon running in the background, and if by chance you've already set a wallpaper, nothing's going to happen just yet because we need to pass in a new image for awww in order to display. So that we do right over here. Before that, you want to get to know the monitor that you want to to display the stuff on. So I have two monitors. One is my laptop and the other one is my main monitor. So I want to display it on my main monitor, let's say. But in this case, I have just, okay, I'll just show you what you can do in order to display it for both monitors. Otherwise, if you want to choose one particular output, one particular monitor, you just have to specify -o. So if I wanted to do it for both, awww img -o, the outputs, I'm not going to pick anything. I'll just let that apply to both. Now you just choose your image. Say I wanted to choose another one from config, color schemes, and what else was that? Config, color schemes. In this was a pine. Now inside here, we'll go into wallpapers and we'll pick something like Pixel Sakura. Why not? Let's go with this. And with a fade transition, it applies this over here. Now, of course, it takes a second to load in, but as you can see, this live wallpaper works pretty fantastically, okay? This works with awww itself, so it's pretty nice. Now, here is where you actually control how smoothly the transition will happen, as well as its frame rate. The transition step is controlling the smoothness of the transition, and transition FPS, you guessed it, controls the FPS. So you want to do something like this. Let's change the wallpaper to something like Shrine shrine.png. Now here you want to add in the transition step. Let's make let's choose a value, something like 2. Okay, smaller values means smoother. If you want it to be like practically instant and no blurring or anything of the sort, you can choose 255. Let's go with something like 2 so I can show you what it looks like. Then, of course, you specify transition FPS to be 144. That's in my case. Choose the maximum refresh rate of your monitor. There's no need to humble yourself and go any lower than that. Just doesn't make sense. So type this in, and as you can see, yeah, this is what it looks like. But we still have something else to specify, which is the transition type. Okay, there is also different transition types. Okay, you can control that by typing in -- transition type and then choosing the type from here. Now, if you would like to know the values for outputs, you can query either hyprctl monitors like I just did, or you can just query the monitors like so. And if you want to stop the daemon, you can either p-kill the daemon or you can just awww kill. Now, if you want more help with transition type, let's say, okay, you can go with awww img -- help subcommand. Now here it gives you the different options that you can use. Now I will walk through everything so that you can use this for yourself. Okay. Now let's start one by one. Now this is the image, of course, for img. This is all this you're setting it basically for every single daemon instance. You don't have to worry about that too much. You're not going to be using it. If in case you wanted to change the namespace of the the wallpaper daemon just so that you can use it inside of window rules and stuff like that, inside of layer rules actually for Hyprland, you can do that with this thing, with namespace. And no resize, do not resize the image. That's, you'd rather want it to be resized just so that it fits onto your monitor. Otherwise, you can pass in no resize. If you want to resize it in a specific way, like crop, fit, or stretch, or just not resizing at all, you can do it this way as well. Fill color. So this is to basically fill the color with padding whenever you see black bars, or basically when the wallpaper doesn't end up fitting the entirety of the screen. That's what to do then. And this is filter. So what filter you're actually supposed to use in order to scale images. Now, if you're upscaling or downscaling, you're going to have to use one of these filters. And the best filter, in my opinion, is going to be Langsauce 3. Now, I have come across the Langsauce filter whenever I have done some screen recording stuff, and it seems to be the best according to common wisdom, the wisdom of the crowds. Okay, it seems to be the best one for downscaling and upscaling stuff. So you might as well just go for this. By default, it's Langsauce as well, so there's no need to really change that. Now, here's where we get into the transition types, something that you were looking for previously, okay? Now, here, the default is simple, which is just a simple fade, but otherwise, you have quite a lot of other ones as well. You have left, transition type left, and man, there are not enough wallpapers for me to choose from over here, so anyway, evening, left looks something like this, okay? It just fades in from the left, fading in from the right, so on and so forth. Left, right, top, and bottom, make the transition happen from that position to its opposite on the screen. None is an alias to simple. Let's set it to 255, so it's just an instant wallpaper switch. In case you wanted absolutely no animations and you were going for something like a brutalist aesthetic, well, this would definitely help you quite a lot. As you can see, it's pretty instant. Then fade is simple, but then fade is controlled through transition Bezier flag. So in case you wanted to use a different Bezier curve, something that you have defined inside your Hyprland config, you can do so. Otherwise, that's what that is. And wipe is similar to left, but allows you to specify the angle for transition. Now, transition type wipe, you can do this. And then, of course, it's not going to change anything because it's the same freaking wallpaper. Now, let's change this to something like clouds. There you go. It wipes in like this. Now, if you want there to be a clear line and separation, you're going to have to increase this to 255, which means that there is going to be a very clear separation, in which case you are going to see that it looks something like this. This is what you're seeing in my normal wallpaper switcher. And by the way, if you want to learn how to make wallpaper switchers like this one, along with learning more features like awww and how to make notification panels and other stuff like that, along with how to make custom theme switchers, like the one that you're seeing over here, well, all you have to do is just choose a custom theme inside of a bunch of different lists, inside of a list of a bunch of different ones, and basically have your entire system adapt to that. You can click the first link in the description right now and check out the program. And okay, now let's see what else we have over here. We have grow, center, any, and outer. Now, any, I'll show you this one. The rest of the ones, they're pretty self-explanatory. Center is the one that you see when I'm switching themes. Say I wanted to switch to this anime one. The thing that you're seeing over here is the center one, of course. Then wipe, you already saw. That goes like this. And any is actually more interesting because when you do it this way, yeah, it just picks any random one. Now, let's say I wanted to change it to something like evening. Fix anything from here, from here, from here. Any transition, basically. Outer is the same as grow, but then the circle shrinks instead of growing. And random will select a transition effect at random. Oh, okay. And also, any is an alias to grow with position set to a random point on screen. That's something to keep in mind. The transition step we've already discussed, transition duration. Now this one, it doesn't work if you're using the simple transition because it's just a fade. Okay, but if you're using other transitions, you can specify the duration for it. The angle, transition of PS, and position as well, in case you were using something like grow or shrink or whatever options were there over here. Transition Bezier curve. This one is something that I'm going to be changing inside of my own custom theme switcher because the default Bezier, while it's good enough, it can definitely look better. Transition wave. Okay, here you will have a different one. Now, let's try it with wave, right? So we'll pick something like this so you can see what's going on. Okay, and yeah, it's basically the same thing except it looks quite wavy. Here you define the kind of waves that you're going to be using, right? Currently only used for wave transition to control the width and height of each wave. Ta-da. So if you were going for something like a Material 3 expressive aesthetic where you have all sorts of waves and curves and rounded corners and stuff like that, this would be very useful in order to fit the wallpaper switcher into that aesthetic as well. And that's pretty much it. That is how you can make these beautiful transitions that you're seeing over here without breaking your head or using any complicated apps whatsoever. If you want to learn how to make wallpaper switchers like this one, along with custom theme switchers and everything else that you're seeing over here, you can click the first link in the description and check out Hyper Accelerator. It's a program where I cover exactly how you can make some stuff like this from scratch, not just copy and paste dot files, but actually understand what's going on. So if you want to learn more about that, you can click the first link right now and check it out. If you liked the video, hit like. If you loved it and want to see more like this in your feed, hit subscribe, and I will see you next time. Stay rising.